All right, so I guess this is really happening now, guys.
All right.
Of all the Andrew, we've done a lot of stunts on this show, particularly during TV Telethon weeks. Where do you rank this one so far? As far as, I don't know, worst idea?
It feels really bad right now.
TBTL.
Well, all right. Hello, good morning, and welcome everyone to a very special Monday edition of TBTL, the show that just might be too beautiful to live. My name is Luke Burbank. I am your host. Here we are in the rented, John, what is this? Toyota something?
Nissan Pathfinder.
Nissan Pathfinder, heading on out to Valley City, Ohio for the final time this week as part of episode 4774 in a collector's series. We're in the afterglow of the TBTL-a-thon, and we are in the before glow of a frog jump. Can you be, Andrew, in the before glow of a frog jump?
I think you can be. The question is, do you want to
Could be, but should you be?
That is the question. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. But here we are in the shadow of Frog Day.
We sure are. We are heading from the Airbnb, which is in Ohio City, which is a neighborhood of Cleveland. I found that name slightly confusing, to be honest with you.
Because it's a state.
Because it's a state, because it'd be like a neighborhood of Seattle called Seattle City, Seattle.
Well, it'd be like Washington City.
Even more confusing. But we are leaving Ohio City. We are heading out to Valley City for the final time. How are we feeling on this? We're recording this on a Sunday, of course, the day of the frog jump. Andrew, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. You know, I just had a moment of reflection just literally a second ago as you were talking, realizing that if we've accomplished one thing during this week of the TB-Telethon, it's that you are officially calling it Valley City and not Valley Center, Ohio, a struggle of mine that I've been, burdening with for 10 years now. You always call it Valley Center, and I think you got it now. It's Valley City.
I did have to write it on the show sheet every day. I'm not kidding, because I felt like the good people of Valley City and more broadly Liverpool Township, they deserved me describing the city accurately, the town accurately, and I knew that if I didn't write it down, I would call it Valley Center. What is exactly the scoop with that? We're at the Liverpool Township Community Center, which is also your former elementary school, but we're in Valley City. What's exactly the layout out there?
I didn't really know this until we were looking it up while we were driving the other day, but I guess Valley City is inside Liverpool Township, not the other way around. That's my understanding.
But Liverpool Township is not a county.
No. Did I say county?
No, but I'm trying to understand what township means. Valley City is a city or a town.
Valley City, I believe, is an unincorporated census designation area.
A very good place.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get so sexy so early in the morning.
I'm just trying to lean into the fact that you can hear how late we were out last night in my voice. I'm trying to make it a feature, not a bug.
Yes.
But
I believe I used the word burdening a little bit ago. That's living in my head too. I'm still in that phase of waking up where I try to remember what words mean. But again, Corinne, this is for you.
Again, I'm not trying to belabor this, and I'm not trying to be burdening you with this too much, Andrew, but I understand what a town is. I understand what a county is. I even, on occasion, understand what a state is. But the city of Valley City, Ohio, being in the township of Liverpool, being in the county of Medina,
yes.
What layer, what fascia is Liverpool Township?
I mean, I really think this is a question for the Daves. And when I say the Daves, of course, I mean the frogs who live in a pond there. But I don't know. I guess, isn't
what
there...
What if I will not allow the frog jump to go forward until I get some answers on this?
I want some answers.
We roll up.
At long last.
I throw myself down on the parachute target, which I believe is what the frogs will be jumping on, some kind of a parachute thing, and say, I demand answers.
Well, can we actually, let me shift here because I have no answers for you about the layers of government, but I do have a lot of questions / anxieties about what we're getting into here as far as the actual, I mean, we've been talking about it in very broad terms, but to be honest with you, I haven't drilled down the specifics of what we're actually walking into because I've been pretty nervous about this whole thing.
I would say, honestly, hands off doesn't even begin to describe it. I would say delinquent.
In our lack of preparation for what we're driving into.
I would say professionally unprofessional.
Yeah, so just putting aside all of the other hullabaloo that will be going on, like I have...
That's what I really want to talk about with you in a moment.
Is the hullabaloo?
Is the hullabaloo as it specifically relates to you, because there are going to be a lot of people, a lot of friends, both old and more recently made. Boy, I'm burdening myself too with language this morning. You've got a lot of people coming out to this, Andrew, from the olden times. Some people you haven't seen in many years. Also people you met more recently. But like, this is going to be a pretty big social event for you.
It is. And you know me, I love social events, especially when it mixes people from various aspects of my life, especially when there's an aspect of it in which I'm going to be performing in some way. Now, performing is a very strong word here, but there is a moment where the three of us, now keep in mind, most people enter. I believe the official rules say one person takes one frog. One person and one frog enter, one frog leaves.
Well,
the circle,
if
right?
if I could clarify, and I don't mean to gender this, but I believe maybe it was our friend Dave Rako who said, the rules are it's supposed to be one person, but sometimes if three young girls want to bring one frog in, we let it happen.
Right, that line has been living in my head too.
So we are essentially three young girls.
That's what I've been sort of...
our frog in.
We're often described that way, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, that SEO might not hurt us, John. If you could put that in for like the Giggle Squad. If we could get more people looking for three young girls hosting a podcast and they find us. So yes, we are going to be, I'm sure, looking somewhat, let's just say, amateurish as we, the three of us, bring our one Dave into the frog jump arena. And here's the other problem. I do not want to scare our frog. You know how we've been on a thing this week about wanting to be as humane with the Daves as possible. I was talking to somebody about this yesterday out at the sort of location, and they said, well, people get out there, they put their frog down, and then sometimes like they kind of smack the ground or they kind of yell at the frog.
Yeah.
I don't want us to yell at the frog.
Yeah, I know. We gotta be encouraging without being cruel.
Gently cajoling, just, hey, buddy, you could do it, kind of thing.
I'm saying I want to go with positive reinforcement.
I like this.
That actually gets me to another thought about this, which is, under no circumstances are we allowed to win the frog jump. That would be the worst look ever.
I gotta say, when we started this week, I thought there's nothing more than I want. There's nothing I want more than to
unburden
win.
yourself, sir.
Unburden yourself. There's nothing I want more than to win the frog jump.
Really?
But I think that was just a notion, like a bit. But you're right. First of all, as far as a bit is concerned, that's kind of a bad bit.
Way bad.
I think. But also, there's just no way. I don't even want to touch the frog, and I don't want to yell at the frog, and I don't want to stamp around the frog. I actually just want to Walden this. I want to take our frog and go out into the woods somewhere while you guys all hang out at the Frog Jump Festival.
I'm totally fine with that, honestly. Like, I just want to get through this now. That's where I'm at. I want to take our Dave out lovingly.
We're too fun sometimes.
I want to place our... I think 3 out of 3 Daves agree. They like what we're thinking here, because I say we gently place our Dave on the middle of the jumping ring. We give it a thumbs up, and then we just back away.
We just keep backing away.
How's that for
keep backing
Mamba
away.
mentality?
We just Homer Simpson our way into that nearest
the heart
edges.
of a champion.
Yes.
And then we go sit in the pavilion with the tens and call it a day. How's that sound?
This will be my flu game. I'll have one.
Famously against the
tier.
Boston Celtics, as I was. Let's talk a little bit about yesterday. We can't look forward without looking back. We had such a fun time in the Cleve. We were hanging out with our friend, your friend, and now our friend Jessica and Camille and a host of other people at the Guardians game. Our buddy Bobby rolled through. That was such a fun afternoon into evening where the Guardians had a thrilling comeback against the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Seattle Mariners on the far west end of the continent were also coming back heroically. I don't know if I've had a more fun Saturday night in a while, guys.
that was a very big win last night. I know this is not a Guardians podcast yet, but after last night, we might be tracking in that direction. That was such a fun night. The Guardians were, it was, first of all, we only went to one of the games, but it ended up being a double header yesterday because of various weather and smoke conditions in the atmosphere. And then the game we went to see was the second game of that, and that was delayed because of a very heavy rainstorm. And so we were kind of wandering around, kind of taking a walking tour of an area that I grew up in. You guys got to lay eyes on Walsh Manufacturing, where I cut my teeth in the industry, Luke.
I've now established a direct, unilateral communication line with Bob Walsh.
Yeah, we don't know how we feel about that.
You're no longer involved. I don't need you anymore. He's in my contacts. I'm sending him photos. He's liking them. He's saying he might need to add it to the TBTL shrine in the basement.
He's calling you son.
He did call John Johnny.
He did. It's true. When we left his house the other day, he called me Johnny, and I know you don't love it, Andrew, but the way he used to call you Andy, and I felt like I have a new dad. Brother.
He does. I'm glad that you like that. That is one thing I kind of forgot about this, and I say this with all love. But growing up, that was something that I found kind of embarrassing, would be somebody would introduce themselves to my father, and he would immediately nickname them. He'd put a Y to the end of their name, and I would often say, well, that's not the name they just gave you.
I felt very honored, and even more so because I never heard Lukey.
That's a good point. Are you jealous?
Well, that's why I've been sending him various photos and other text messages trying to get into his especially good graces, because nothing would warm my heart like a good lookie from Bob Walsh.
Yeah, understood. Yeah, so back to what we're getting into, I guess, is we have the actual frog jump event that is going to happen sometime between, we're assuming, 1 and 1:30.
We are in flight 17, for what that's worth.
I just opened a bottle of water between my legs, and it now looks like I had an accident in the car seat, so hopefully that dries up before I start to see people here in Valley City. But aside from that...
If we can, Andrew, again, I don't want to... Again, I don't want to get stuck on this, but I know that you, again, are going to be... There's some folks from your growing up days, right? And also maybe extended family and things like that. You're going to be pretty on today. Have you been getting in the zone this morning? Have you been thinking about this?
No, in fact, I find when I'm stressed out, I actually...
Am I making it worse? I'm not trying to.
No, I wouldn't say I'm self-destructive, but one of my least favorite qualities about myself is sometimes when I'm really stressed out about something, I tend to take myself to some sort of astral plane by like scrolling through social media. Like I haven't been thinking about it a lot because it is like, it's going to be a strange situation. I mean, any TBTL event where you're going to be meeting and re-meeting a bunch of people that only know you through the podcast, it's always fun, but you'll, I think, have my back on this, Luke, that there is a certain amount of sort of anxiety about remembering people's names and being present.
I meant to ask if someone would bring name tags.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm Andrew.
I forgot about that.
This is Johnny.
Hold on, let me make a mnemonic device.
I feel like I should have brought the name tags.
Johnny, like the cab in Blade Runner.
Yep.
And Andrew,
like the robot in Short
Andy,
Circuit.
like the man.
Yes,
grill.
The grill. Exactly. And I'm wearing my grills, so that can hopefully help with the mnemonic device. So there will be both 10s here. I have heard...
There are 10s that are already there.
Yeah, I know. That stressed me out a little bit. Yeah, I know.
This morning, as I was kind of getting ready for the day, I was looking at our Instagram feed, and I saw that people were already posting photos from there. Which
that gave me a ping of anxiety.
A pang of happiness? Oh, wait.
Yes. Yeah, no, I am happy. Listen,
yes.
We're doing the show. I do not want to make people who are showing up for this feel
we
like
are very
you're
excited to see
That
everybody.
is not the case. But I am who I am, as Olive Oil once famously said.
I think that was Bluto.
I think it was. I'm sorry, it's Bluto. And so I am. It is going to be an interesting mix of both. It's going to be a TBTL meetup. It's going to be a frog jump competition that
which
we're entering.
I have a lot riding on.
Kalshi.
On Kalshi.
Yeah, a lot of investment there. And then there will be some immediate family in that my parents will be there, and I've heard some extended family showing up, and I've heard from a childhood friend who I have not seen, I think, since grade school, who connected with me, Tim. I'm very excited to see Tim again, but I always assumed that when I someday see Tim again, we would be able to actually catch up, maybe sit down, have a cup of coffee or something, but instead it'll be sort of wedged between a lot of different sort of, sort of social obligations pulling me in different
events
directions.
And also, let's just say, public-facing events.
Sure, yeah. So anyway, these are the things that are stewing around in my brain.
Okay. John, how are you feeling? Are you nervous about seeing old friends?
No, I'm excited. There's a few tens, like you said, posting, and I'm excited to see folks and meet some folks for the first time. I'm excited to see your parents, Andrew. I say this sincerely. We've seen them a few times this week, and they're just such lovely, kind people. So it'll be nice to see them one more time before saying goodbye, before heading out of town tomorrow. And so that'll be fun to spend some time with them. But it's this big event. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of people, and we will be focused on our Dave. And so
Yes.
I don't think I'm like nervous or anxious. I just am preparing myself for like it's gonna be a big day kind of thing.
I don't think of you as getting nervous around these things. They seem like you just seem like a natural social being.
Gregarious is the word that comes to mind.
I'm very much an extrovert. But it still is. I think it's kind of what you're saying, Andrew. It's like, especially, and again, this is not a criticism. I'm legitimately thrilled to like meet a lot of tens and stuff. But I want to put my best foot forward. I am representative of the podcast and working with you guys, and I want the tens especially who are coming to have the best experience they can. And so I don't want to like. You guys know me. I sometimes put my foot in the mouth and say something stupid, and I just want.
Those are listeners' feet you put in your mouth, and how many conversations do we have to have about that?
Yeah,
exactly. And so I just want to make sure I am being appropriate and or not doing anything to embarrass myself or embarrass the show. And so it's exciting, but just gotta be on best behavior and make sure everything goes well.
Andrew, would you say that is your dad a hugger? Not a hugger, because I gave him a hug the other day. He went in for the handshake, and I gave him a hug, and I that's been living in my head. I don't know if I crossed a line.
That's why you're not Lukey, because he goes for the handshake, I go for the handshake. Now Joyce, she goes for the hug, and I appreciate that.
That's my stepmom.
I picked Joyce up.
Well, you spun her around.
Yeah, I picked her up and spun her around in a circle.
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting choice.
Well,
so you asked me if my dad's a hugger. I do know that he's a hugger for family, for sure. I think hugs are important to him.
So the fact that he didn't offer the hug to me means I'm still not in the circle of trust.
Well, we'll see. But I think that maybe he would follow other people's lead. I think that maybe he was also wondering, maybe in his head, is this a hugging situation? Okay. Because don't you feel like we're the first generation where you're like hugging friends a lot, just sort of like I don't know, does my dad's generation, were they like when they were in their 20s and 30s, were they hugging their friends hello? I'm going to say no.
No, I don't see the greatest generation doing a lot of. They weren't hugging when they stormed Omaha Beach.
Okay, I'm not entirely sure
weirdly,
that's my dad's
depending on what part of Italy they're from, they were almost fully making out.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It went from like we're kissing each other on the face as male friends to the least physical contact possible to us, the hugging generation.
I would just like to point out that my dad was born, I believe, maybe in the very last year of World War II. He's not greatest generation. All
right. Well, I don't know his life. I don't know his business.
Well, now you know that much more about him.
Okay. So he was born in an amphibious vehicle,
yeah,
just off of Omaha Beach.
Appropriate for Frog Hop Day. Yes.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Actually, we found out. I found out from Jim, one of the people running the one of the few people not named Dave running the frog jump.
Weirdly, his nickname is Dave.
Just to make it easy, there's this giant fiberglass frog that is now sort of sitting down at the park where we're going to be, and they had it made by a guy whose entire specialty is making giant frogs for the Marines, because that's a whole like nickname kind of vibe for the Marines who do the amphibious stuff. They're called frogs because they do the land and sea kind of stuff. So they were trying to figure out for years who can make us an enormous frog, and it turns out there's a dude in Ohio who's been making these for the Marines, and they got him to make a giant one for Valley City, Ohio, in Liverpool Township.
You mean it's like they have these frogs at Marine bases, or if you are a veteran, you're a Marine, you have one at your house?
I think it's more like maybe at like where the Marines are,
the training centers, the bases, all that
something
kind of
like
stuff.
that.
Yeah.
Although the
is
idea
this a Trojan frog?
It was hollow. I did knock on it. It also smelled a little weird. I did a whole interview on Friday next to the new frog. It kind of was off-gassing some. They literally put it up on like Wednesday, and I don't think it's fully settled in yet. The big frog is the sort of next iteration of a smaller but still kind of large cement frog. The guy who was the local frog jump champ and a very important person in the world of Valley City frog jumping was in, I want to say like a skiing accident, or maybe it was a car accident, and he was laid up. And the town decided the way to make him feel better was for all of the local dudes to get together and pour a giant frog out of concrete and put it in his yard while he was convalescing. And then people would come from far and wide to see the concrete frog.
This sounds like a prank.
And then eventually the concrete frog started to deteriorate. And now I think is, completely like crumbled. So this is now the next sort of version or generation of what started out. What a weird way to try to make a guy feel better.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Hey, sorry about your car accident. Here's an enormous concrete frog in your yard that you're just going to have to deal with for the next 30 to 40 years.
Do you remember earlier this week when you were wondering if I was testing a stone frog to see if it was breathing?
Yes, I do remember that.
That was an interesting moment in our relationship.
Do you mind, Andrew,
No,
if I describe it from my perspective?
It almost must be that way.
So there are frogs everywhere in this town. I mean, they've really embraced it. Although I did ask Jim at one point, so were there a lot of frogs? Is that how the frog jump came about? He goes, not particularly. It was 3 guys at the bar. Literally,
Yes,
we're like, what are we going to do with this
this.
town? I don't know. Frog jump?
This is making sense.
But so they've got frog stuff everywhere, including in the room at the community center where we were doing the show this week. And there was like a kind of a, how would you describe it? Like a pottery kind of a frog, like made out of, I don't know, some sort of ceramic.
It looked like stone, but it was actually
Yes.
hollow. I remember somebody picked it up later in the week and said, whoa, I thought this was going to be heavier.
Yeah.
John is also very strong.
Yeah, that is true.
It was heavy to the rest
And
of
it was
us.
the size of what? Let's say a basketball? I mean,
Yes.
frog-shaped. It wasn't round and orange and rubber. I want to be very clear
It was no
about that.
Jimothy.
No, it was no Jimothy. But it was like, it looks like it's stone, but like you said, it was hollow on the inside. And it had a very thin slit of a mouth.
Yes.
Right?
Oddly enough, it just had they had decided the only sort of orifice, like the eyes were sort of solid, everything else, they just had cut this very, very narrow slit for its mouth, which kind of went all the way across its little frog face.
Mm-hmm.
And
like you could put a dime in there if it
Yes.
were a piggy bank, only the slot is very, very long.
perfect description.
Thank you.
And while we were sort of talking, I think maybe after the show, I think this maybe had happened a couple times, we were chatting about something, and you were kind of running, as I remember it, maybe like the back of your fingernails, what I thought was like along the mouth opening of the ceramic frog. And for some reason in my brain, I thought you were checking if it was breathing. That's what I thought was going on. What was going on?
Well, when I started yelling clear.
Yeah. You defibbed it like 2 to 3 times.
Exactly. That's definitely when things got interesting. No, I mean, it's one of those moments where I kind of don't realize that I'm fiddling with something. I'm not nervous. I wasn't nervous in the moment, but I'm just, like I'm sitting in the passenger's seat here in this car right now, and like, if we weren't recording, I'd probably be like messing around with these air conditioning vents, or I'm just always just sort of exploring things with my hands. Another reason why you guys are a little bit leery about me being around listeners, if I understand it correctly. And so
I would say don't check if they're breathing.
Well,
we can assume they
I
are.
don't know. It's going to be an exciting frog jump. And so I think that what I was doing without thinking about it was just sort of like sticking my fingernails maybe in the slot to see, like, is that actually a slot? Is it pain? I don't know exactly what I was doing because I wasn't paying attention to it, to myself. You know what I mean? That is one aspect. And I don't think I get this from anybody else in my life, and maybe it's because we are content creators, and so you are always looking for content out of our interactions.
I'm always looking for ways to get you more in your head.
Yeah, well, that is true.
It's
I
working.
mean, that is true. There are things now in my life. Now, we're getting pretty far away from frog jump talk here, but there are things in my life that I continue to do that I never even noticed I really did before until you pointed out to me. One of which is like how I will tear paper towels into small little pieces, and then
I think about that. No, not in a bad way, Andrew.
Yeah.
I think about that a lot because somebody said, I don't know, on some social media, and it really resonated with me. I have the paper towel habits of a much richer person. And that is me, like,
Yes.
I am really not as careful as I should be. I grew up in a no paper towel household because I think my folks were, felt like it was, we have rags we can use for things and we'll wash them, or maybe we won't.
And that's better for the environment.
It is. It's funny, like, my parents and Becca's parents did a lot of similar things, but for wildly different reasons. Like, she grew up watching public television because her parents knew that it was better for their brains. We grew up watching it because my parents thought everything else was satanic. Or like, we used a lot of towels and not paper towels because we were too cheap to have paper towels. They did it because carbon footprint.
Sure.
Stuff like that. But I think about how you are with paper towels, which is you're not wasteful with them. And I actually really admire that. Like, if you need about half of a paper towel, you'll use that. And then you'll fold up the leftover half and you'll sort of place it, you'll snug it into the paper towel holder or somehow so that the next time you need a paper towel, you'll go grab that half of a towel.
Like if we have a roll of paper towels and they're not on a holder, we do not have a holder in our kitchen. It's just a roll of paper towels that always sits on the kitchen counter, like kind of standing up on the kitchen counter. That leaves a hole in the top, right? And so I will take a paper towel. And the thing is, and this is where I'm a fool, is I'm often like using like half a paper towel just to blow my nose, or really even a quarter of a paper towel. Should I be going in the other room and grabbing tissues? Absolutely I should be. Am I? No. So I will often
critically, you're not using a handkerchief because that is disgusting.
I take a handkerchief and then I put it back in the paper towel roll when I'm done with it. And it sticks. It's nice. So I'm often you having literally maybe a quarter of a paper towel that I want to reuse again later, so I will just sort of take my fingers and sort of tuck that right into the top of the roll. And I never realized I did that. I just do it. And then, by the way, shout out to Brawny. When we were kids, paper towels were one size, a full paper towel. Then time went on, and they kind of had like a half paper towels. You could tear off a half one. Brawny now has something called Terra Square. I'm sure you guys are familiar with this. I only buy Brawny Terra Square paper towels now because they're perforated for exactly what I do. Each paper towel really can be torn up into quadrants, which is perfect for me. And anyway, you pointed that out one time. We were sharing an Airbnb, and you're like, you have a really interesting paper towel system. Never even realized I was doing it, and now I do it all the time. And I mean, I continue to do it, and I think, what would Luke think of this?
I actually have found myself doing that occasionally, Andrew, because it makes sense. Have I told you about the paper towel holder that changed the course of my life?
No. What do we think about the sheriff's car that's pulling over?
We don't like it. We don't
right
like it one bit.
Well, he's like in a parking lot. He's not actually. It's like, for the record, we're not being pulled over. I'm not going to run this yellow light, though. I'm going to stay here.
Do you think he's going into Gibbs Butcher Block, where we stopped to get some sandwiches the other day?
If he is, I would like him to do a much better job parking.
Yeah, he is weirdly on the side.
He looks like he's doing a speed trap, except the problem is, he just lit up his lights.
See, I'm glad I didn't go on that yellow, even though I could have probably.
Are either one of you guys holding? Do we have to ditch anything?
No, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me check this paper towel. It's in here.
I don't like this. He pulled over. I think you can go.
We have a green light and a green left arrow.
Keep the microphone low.
But the fact is, there is a sheriff's SUV. He's just doing traffic control out there. He's about to. I saw him getting his what do you call it? Sort of luminescent vest.
The high vis vest.
His high vis vest. But isn't that interesting? We're all grown people of a certain age. As far as I know, no active warrants. Behaving legally. And yet that sheriff pulling over and putting his lights on sent an absolute chill through all of us.
It really did.
John was like, am I allowed to go left on a green and a green?
Right,
it's
green
the
arrow.
The answer is yes, but I'm with you. That was stressful. The paper towel holder that changed the course of my life, and I'll have to be a little general here, but when I was much younger and was in a relationship with somebody, I'm talking long, long ago, but a relationship that had the potential to become very serious, I was at this person's apartment, and they had a paper towel holder that was like a goose. And you know what I mean? It was like wood, and it was kind of like I don't know if it was like a goose's body or neck. It was kind of real country kitchen.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, country kitsch, yeah.
And I remember we were having a conversation, and I was looking at that paper towel holder, and I thought, this can't be my life. I can't build a life around country kitsch. And that relationship did not go much further. And, I've lived the life that I've lived on a sort of a real jingle all the doors way because of that goose paper towel holder.
And ironically, you now have a goose paper towel holder.
Oh, I love it now. I'm back to it. Country kitchen is back.
Mid-century kitchen, yeah.
100%. No, I mean, I love it, but just I didn't love it for me back then.
Sure, yeah. Well, it shows the capacity to change and grow.
Well, also, and I know I've told this story, also had a different relationship, different person end over over sandal choices.
Oh, this does ring a bell, yeah.
Just some sandals that were being worn, and the thought, I don't know if I can build a life with those sandals either.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, explains why my personal life has been such a success in the relationship department.
Are we coming up on your special house here, Luke? You get excited every time we come this route.
I mean, not the way John does about fire hydrants.
No, I mean, nobody
but
does.
nobody does.
In my defense, you know what? I don't need to defend myself. I know I'm right. There's some weirdly placed fire hydrants.
Oh, we got an answer to that, by the way.
Yeah?
Somebody wrote in something about tell John Sklaroff. This is from a listener. Tell John Sklaroff that when the county, or was it the township?
We'll never know. Until I interrupt this frog
area.
jump.
But somebody did want to let you know that when they're installing water lines, they need a whole bunch of those because
Maybe
I think
pressure?
maybe because of pressure, or like maybe the ability to release pressure or something. But basically, when they're installing a line, it just makes sense to install a whole bunch of hydrants along that line.
Well, I appreciate that as an explanation, and that's great. It seems so random to have these like in a field fire hydrants, but if there's a logical explanation, I accept that, and thank you to the listener who sent that in.
Now, the house that I've been getting very excited about is, to me, quite interesting. It's a beautiful old brick kind of, you might almost say mansion, but it has a specific roof style where the normal edge of a roof where you'd have like a rain gutter and stuff, it's all very rounded. It has like a, it really feels like The Hobbit or The Shire. And it's a beautiful home that somebody, I'm sure, put a lot of time, effort, and money into building. What I find so fascinating about it is that it is being completely subsumed. Is that a word? Mm-hmm. It's being taken over by like weeds and blackberries and things. Like, it's in full disrepair. But again, at some point, somebody put a lot of money and time and thought into this beautiful home that then has now been sort of abandoned and has been taken over by vines.
Can I share this note that I got from the listener? It's coming from the 440 area code, by the way, so you know it's like nearby.
Is this more fire hydrant talk?
Yeah, it is. I got sick of the Hobbit House talk, so we're back to fire hydrants where the real action is. I don't know this person's name, but it says, "Hi, Andrew. Greetings from 2 hours west, a.k.a. the epicenter of the cyclosporiasis outbreak. I happened to be driving by this wheat field," there's a photo attached, "as you guys were talking about hydrants in the middle of nowhere. Let John know that rural fire hydrants are there so the utility company can flush the water lines. They have to periodically open the hydrants and wash out accumulated rust." It's amazing how wrong I got this. "And wash out accumulated rust and whatnot to preserve flow and make sure the residential antimicrobial chemicals stay in the water until it reaches your tap."
So that's really interesting.
By the way, Accumulated Rust sounds like a band that would open for Dave Matthews.
Or a Neil Young album.
Yes, exactly.
That's a really interesting answer. Again, thank you, listener. And if you guys recall, I lived in rural New York for about 7 years in a very isolated kind of rural place in a small town. And we didn't.
That's what you were telling those kids on the farm, right? When you were trying to throw down with them.
I was trying to be like, I'm cool, I get it. But we didn't have those around us, and so I now worry for the water.
Think about all the microbes. In the
rust
water.
accumulation.
I worry about
off
the people
charts.
of Canton, New York, and their water supply.
By the way, the 440 area code serves the north and northeastern suburbs of Cleveland, along the with nearby communities of Lake Lorraine, Ashtabula, and Geauga counties.
Do you know this was a big deal? So growing up, the whole area was 216, right? The Cleveland area code. Mm-hmm. And then they introduced 330, and then I think later 440, but maybe 330 and 440 around the same time. That was really big. That was world-shaking to us because you realize that something so structural can change so quickly.
Yeah, I am hanging on to my 310.
Yeah, that's a good one.
No one guess the rest of my cell phone, please. We now know we've narrowed it down to 310.
Okay.
But that's like an OGLA number.
Yeah.
That I don't think they're giving out anymore.
Yeah. I wish I had a 206 in Seattle. I actually I'm a 603 because I got my cell phone in New Hampshire.
Well, let's see here. We are now getting pretty close. What are we, about 7 minutes out? So I think we need to get in the zone here, people. Mm-hmm. And by that I mean figure out what the parking situation is.
Yeah, exactly.
Because this is going to be everybody in the town turns out for this, and I don't know what it's going to look like. So maybe we sign off for this portion of the broadcast, and I guess we'll rejoin folks when we're out on the
Yeah, you want
out
me?
on the
Wait, let's
course?
talk
What's
about this
the plan
quickly.
for this?
So the plan is for me, like right now, I'm wearing a pair of headphones. I've got this little machine we're recording into. I got 2 microphones plugged into it. When the time comes, all 3 of us are going to be out there. I hate to say it, possibly like doofuses, because usually this is one person,
just
one
like
frog.
3
Little
7-year-old girls,
Sure, yeah.
with pigtails, bringing our froggy out.
You want me recording out in the arena, right? I'm the man in the arena.
Yeah.
Is this
I
the
hate
plan?
you because you look different.
But that is the plan. So you guys
Imagine
are
a
frog
person
wrangling?
who doesn't know what the context is for why I just said that to you.
Which is probably most people.
Yeah.
If we're being honest. But that is the plan. How we want to try to get
think
audio
so.
from inside the arena. So that's going to both make me look a little bit even more doofusy. But
you don't. If that's going to make you embarrassed, Andrew, you don't have to do that because also
it gives me a job though, which is
CBS
maybe,
television will have me mic'd up.
Yeah, but
We
it
could
might
get
also
the
make
audio
me
from
look.
them.
It might make me look like I have something to do with my hands. I think that if I don't have it, I'm just going to not know what to do. So I think maybe I will kind of almost hide. You know, when I'm at the beach and I don't want to think about the fact that my shirt is off in public, I can take off my glasses.
Yes.
And I think that maybe having this rig might take me out of myself a little bit.
Whatever you need to feel comfortable, John. Same goes for you.
Thank you.
I am, I guess, assuming that I'll hold the frog because I was the one who did it last time.
Sure, yeah. The frog already knows you.
Yeah.
I don't mind, but I do like that. They have Dave has comfortability with you, Luke. He's comfortable with you.
Yeah. He'll be like, I recognize this smell of this hand. So so that's the plan. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get settled in. We're gonna probably say hi to the Tens, and then we're gonna be on standby to get our frog and get out there and try to lose this contest.
All right, let's lose.
Classic TBTL energy.
5'7". 5 feet 7 inches. Next up, Morgan Silverton with Rip. Tanner Zynga, you're on deck.
We are here. We are at the frog jump, and we are waiting in line for flight 17.
This is oddly stressful. Like, I mean, there's absolutely nothing on the line. Why do I feel like I'm worried this isn't going to go well?
I am very stressed out right now, by the way. We have, how many listeners would you say are here so far? About 20?
Yeah, 20 sounds right.
And about 20 strangers I've introduced myself to who are not Tens, who didn't take it particularly well.
More on that later when we get into the details of how you traumatized a woman and her daughter.
I'm nervous. Everyone in the line around us has children with them, and we don't. Do we need to go borrow a child for this?
I don't think we want to use the term borrow a child here at this festival.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Okay, but as we were saying in the car, we don't want to startle or scare our frog, but it also means our frog may just stay there inert.
Yeah.
So 3 grown men with a non-moving frog. What could go wrong?
This is going to be weird. This is definitely going to be memorable for everybody here.
And I think we've just made the last-minute decision, Andrew, to not bring the TBTL audio recording equipment out onto the pitch because that might make the CBS shot look weird. So It's going to be one of those things where I guess we stop the recording right before the important moment, and then we'll just jump back on afterwards and tell everybody how it went.
I like the use of the word jump there. I like that you're embracing the culture.
What do we think is the best case and worst case scenario for us about what is about to happen?
I think the worst case scenario is also what's going to happen, which is the 3 of us are going to sort of stand around and look at the frog and sort of talk to it gently and see if it jumps. Now, we've been checking this out. We've been watching the frog, and the way it works is you really are supposed to like people are yelling at their frogs. People are like throwing their hands down next to the frog, and we don't want to do that.
No, I got the update from Madison, who is the frog handler, also somebody who started out catching these frogs when she was 5 years old and now is a graduate. She graduated from college with a degree in biology, emphasis on frogs, and she's about to go to veterinarian school. Here's what she said. Cover the frog's eyes.
Oh, no.
No, so that they don't get stressed out.
Oh, okay.
So we kind of want to cover the frog's eyes, place the frog down gently on the course, if you will, and then just maybe rub its back a little bit. She's actually said...
Oh, you in front of us?
We're gonna lead it off for you.
Oh, you're leading off. You're 17. You guys are 17.
Show us how it's done.
This guy, he's doing it.
Nice.
Great.
But supposedly, if we put the frog down and then maybe gently rub its back. She said that might make it jump.
All right. Sounds
So
good.
that's going to be our approach, I think. You know what I'm realizing why I'm having such a weird feeling is because we are the only adults doing this.
And there's 3 of us, and we're large men.
Speak for yourself. Like, yeah. I know I said, Andrew, I know I said, John, don't use the term borrow a child, but you actually might. I mean, some of the tents brought their kids. Should we borrow a kid?
Would that be totally abdicating our relationship to our listeners? I mean,
I also think we're on side of this fence and they're on the other side of the fence, so I don't know if we could do that at this point.
I mean, it would be totally.
what if we just had one child out there with us? So it's.
That's what I was saying.
Oh, I thought you meant we just send a child out there in our stead.
No, I mean 3 large adult men and a child they don't know.
My Aunt Jan is here. She's really short. She could maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. She could. Can we put her in like I don't know, some sort of kids outfit and see if anybody notices? All right. So I guess this is really happening now, guys.
All right.
Of all Andrew, we've done a lot of stunts on this show, particularly during TV Telethon weeks. Where do you rank this one so far? As far as, I don't know, worst idea?
It feels really bad right now. I gotta be honest. I'm just trying to remind myself that this is just fun and this is gonna be a fun memory, and so I should live in the moment as opposed to being as absolutely embarrassed as I am feeling right now.
I mean, does it make it worse that this is the town you grew up in as a child and that you have lots of family and old friends here?
This would be so much worse in Pittsburgh. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's not even about. I mean, look, Simeon is out in the ring. Simeon the amphibian is now in the center of the ring. Is he now the king of the frog jump?
He was recruited to be a judge. So we got a man on the inside, which will be helpful.
Also out there with like a Gandalf staff, which I don't know if that's regulation or not. Things are unraveling quickly.
This is really weird. All right, I'm going to stop recording now. We're going to check back in later on this afternoon or this evening.
You know the energy that I need both of you to really channel right now? Ribbit.
5'8" 3/4. 5'8" 3/4. Next is TBTL with Dave.
Okay, ready?
All right, Dave.
Ready? You got this, Dave. Ready? Go.
You got it.
Go.
You got it.
Go.
Go ahead.
Go, Dave.
Go.
Go, Dave.
Fine.
Okay, that's one.
Wait. Come on, Dave.
Go.
2.
Go.
Come on, Dave.
One more, buddy.
One more.
One more.
One more. buddy.
You can do it.
One more.
Yeah! Does that count?
Nice job. Where do we get our real nice job?
How we do?
4'3". 4'3" inches. Next up is Skylar Farrar with Billy Bob Show. Laurel Melizzi, you're on deck.
Terrible. 4'3"?
4 feet 3 inches, guys. 4 feet 3. You get what you pay for. You go in to a frog jump as a namby-pamby pacifist who wants to praise your frog and build their self-esteem, and you get 4 feet 3 inches.
Well, listen. We got through it. First
We did
of all.
get through it.
That's the important thing.
That is true.
We should mention that I've had a couple of beers in the intervening hours. Since
Two
we
small
did.
beers.
2 small beers. But what I was going to say was,
Andrew is not driving, by the way.
No,
John
I am not.
had 1 unsweetened iced tea and is driving.
Yeah, it was unsweetened. 2 lemon slices. 2 lemon slices.
Ooh, okay, be careful.
It's spicy.
It's spicy. What I was going to say was, we have not fully examined the tape yet, and there is tape out there of us participating in this frog jump, but I saw one video of us so far, and you know what? I'm proud of how we behaved ourselves, presented ourselves out there. Like, we are on the ground. We are talking to the frog.
We went for it.
Us. We are. We're all down on our knees, and it went so fast.
Yeah.
They call our name, and we're out there, and then it's just like, okay, everybody's watching. I got people that I haven't talked to in 30 years in the audience. I got family out there. We got tens in the audience, and we are just committed to it. But we're also committed to not being assholes to this frog.
That's right.
And the 3 of us got our faces so if the tape is to be believed, and again, we're going to see more angles on this, We're all putting our face very close to the frog. We're all saying very sweet things to it. And then at one point, it's just not jumping at all. It's not jumping at all. And you see I just take my big fat hand and I just kind of touch the ground next to it a little bit. Other people with their frogs are slamming it. They're using both their hands on each side of the frog. They're yelling. They're trying to skip. We didn't do that. But you just see me gently go on the ground. And the frog just jumped a little bit. And you know what? I have no regrets.
Also, we didn't even have hardly the worst jump. That went to a little girl named AJ, who won the award for shortest jump, which was, I believe, 6 inches.
See?
So, actually, that would have been kind of cool. I would have taken shortest jump or longest jump. But, we committed to the bit. I do think we had the largest cheering section.
Oh, really? I didn't notice that. It's so in my head.
Nobody else had, let's say, 15 or 20 of their podcast listeners there.
That's a really good point. I have no idea what that was like. I was so just in my head in that moment. I think when we were recording earlier, I said I was going to be out there with my recording kit, but it just seemed like the wrong move. So I ditched my recording kit.
I think you made the right call.
I just threw it in the grass.
I mean, first of all, because, again, we were also filming this for CBS TV, and it would be weird to try to explain why one of the people has their own radio equipment. It just kind of looked a little cleaner this way.
Yeah.
And we can explain to everyone sort of what the vibe was, what happened. I was a little worried when I put the frog down, when I put our Dave down, that it was just going to not jump at all, and we were going to have to resort to some kind of extreme tactics. But eventually, like you said, Andrew, you kind of gently patted the ground, and he did a hop, and then I was like, all right, well, at least we've met the minimum threshold for this.
Yeah, I didn't know how I felt about the whole thing at all until I saw the video of us out there. In the moment, I was just like, I was just so discombobulated. I actually would like to go back. The video I saw, I don't think I had the volume up, so I'm excited to hear that. It didn't occur to me.
I assume that it's us walking in slow motion, set to the music "Battle Without Dignity or Honor" from Kill Bill. Dun, dun, dun.
Or what about the whistling song? Or is that the same one?
What's that?
What about the whistling song? Or is that the same one? Yeah, I would like to walk out to that. So,
oh man, that song, "Twisted Nerve," that song is scary.
Twisted Nerve. Do you think you are more present in those moments than me, Luke? Like, honestly, I didn't know what happened until I saw a clip of video of us out there.
I don't know if I am more present, but what I was in that specific moment doing was trying to release our frog in the direction that our cameraman, Mike Hernandez, had told me to release the frog. So it wasn't that I was more present, but it was like, I think I had more things that I needed to remember to do.
Which seems like even the opposite of what I'm saying. Then
right,
maybe,
so I was probably less present. I was just kind of going through the motions of keep the frog's eyes covered and then uncover them at the last moment, which that allegedly would kind of stir in them the desire to jump because they're kind of, suddenly taking in the world, and trying to, again, go in the direction of where our cameras were, stuff like that. Again, I was just, I was glad the frog jumped. I was glad that also we didn't panic and sell out and scream or yell.
Yeah.
Because I could also see myself doing that. I talk a big game about kindness and being humane to both people and animals, and then the first second that I feel embarrassed, it's all out the window.
Yeah.
And that's led, I was explaining to some of the 10s who showed up. By the way, shout out to everybody who made the drive out here to Valley City. We even had some folks come all the way in from Indiana, looking at you, Aiden and Anna. But I was explaining to them that because of my insecurity, I think most of my my bar fighting days was just related to me feeling embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
And that when I told the story of, I think maybe the last actual battle that I had without dignity or honor was Camaro Kev and I were in an Uber. We went to the rickshaw. We walked into the rickshaw. I got into it with a guy, complete stranger, head-butted him. He fell over. We walked out, got in the same Uber and left. We were in the rickshaw for less than 2 minutes. And all that is to say, I'm glad that we didn't resort to any kind of cruel tactics just to try to get the thing over with or to, speed it along. I felt like we stuck to our morals, such as they are. And yeah, we didn't win, but I thought we handled it with honor.
Now, something very shocking happened to me that I have not told you about at this event today, Luke, that I'm going to try to tell you about now.
Yeah, I'm all ears.
So, as we said, it was a big mix of people from my life there. I'm there with you guys, who I'm kind of embarrassed about, but I can roll with it. No, I got family there. My mom and dad are there. My stepmom and dad are there. My aunt is there, whatever. And then I also have friends who are there. I have listeners who are there, some of whom I've met, some of whom I haven't. It's just a big mix of people. One of the people who was there was my friend Tim.
I think I saw you talking to him. Do you have a ball cap on?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Now, Tim...
Very fit guy.
Yeah, he is. He was a little guy growing up. I have not talked to Tim except for exchanging an email or two when he found out I had a podcast like 5 years ago. He literally stumbled on our podcast because he was just looking for a new podcast to listen to.
That must have been totally weird for him to realize it was his friend Andy Walsh.
Yeah. Now, in his defense, I don't think he's a regular listener to the podcast, but he was like...
To his credit, he was not interested.
Yes. But he did, I think, listen to a little bit, and so he dropped me an email a while back and sent me some photos. I think he heard me talking about my old skateboard or something, and he actually had a photo of it. Anyway, I haven't talked to him in person or really had a chance to really like talk about our experiences growing up, and we never did it, right? Like since the last time I saw him sometime in grade school or high school. And so it was really interesting. I was trying hard not to ignore like the listeners who were there and stuff,
right.
But I also didn't want to ignore Tim, somebody I hadn't seen in 20 years. And we were reminiscing, and boy, did we start reminiscing hard. And I have a pretty bad memory, believe it or not, based on I tell you the stories I do remember, and I'm proud when I learn that I got a lot of the details right. But I am the type of person when I'm talking about high school or something, somebody will say, oh, yeah, remember so-and-so, and I'm like, no, I I don't remember that person at all. One of the big reasons I don't want to go to a reunion, by the way, because I just feel like my memory fails me too much on that stuff. So anyway, Tim and I are kind of going deep. We're remembering our teachers. We're remembering our classrooms. I'm glad to hear that he's enjoying geeking out on this stuff as much as I do. We're reminding each other of stories, etc. And we start talking about our teachers, and we start saying, like, which one did you have in 6th grade? Then we start going backwards, 5th, 4th. You guys know how numbers work. And... we get back to 2nd grade. We get back to 2nd grade. That's a pretty good burn. You say that on the mic.
Yeah, we remember. We know how words. See, I blew it around.
Okay, good.
Well, there you go. Proof of concept.
I believe John said we know how numbers work, not so much words. Anyway, so we're in 2nd grade for some reason, and Tim is remembering some specific story or something. He said, and you had your panic button. And I said, what? He's like, remember?
What?
And he said, remember you had your panic button like up on your shirt. And I laughed really hard because I thought I had a lot of like actual buttons, like lapel buttons or whatever when I was a kid, like little sarcastic buttons.
Do you remember what was on any of them?
No, I had a bunch of California Raisin ones, like whatever. So I laughed thinking that I must have had some novelty button that said panic or something on it. You could push your panic button. But I'm like, ha, wait, what are you talking about, my panic button? Was it just a novelty button? He said, no, the little patch, the little round patch that your mom put on your shirt every day. It was your panic button. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, I said, was it like a pin? He's like, no, it was like a piece of cloth. I don't know how she affixed it, but you had it on your shirt every day, and I guess if something was upsetting you were supposed to push your panic button.
Huh.
And I said, I have no... He's like, yeah, and of course we all made fun of you and pushed the panic button.
Oh.
Or no, he didn't say make fun. And he did not say we made fun, but he's like, we'd all come up to you and push your panic button. I have zero memory of this. Now, I know that I'm an anxious person, and I know that I was an anxious kid, but I didn't think that, especially in the 80s or mid-80s, that I was like sort of labeled as an anxious kid who might need certain like kind of little special accommodations or something like that. And unfortunately, like my mom is gone now. I will ask my dad.
I was wondering if that was something that would have ever maybe gotten on your dad's radar.
It probably was on his radar, but I don't think he'll remember it. He has a worse memory than me.
Do you want me to text him? He and I text a lot.
Give me your phone. I'm going to throw it out the window. But I can't explain it. That is such a very specific thing. Somebody said, well, maybe Tim's misremembering it. I'm like, no, we just went back. Like he remembered all kinds of things. like, is this literally a repressed memory? I mean, second grade is a long time ago.
Or at least a pressed memory.
Right? Anyway,
Wow.
I've been sort of grappling with that the past few hours. Like, what was the story there? Was it sort of like, well, your kid's a little special, so we do this? Or was it a joke? Like, did my mom do it sort of as a kind of a goof a little bit or something, because I was a little bit anxious and a little bit nerdy? And what did the adults think? What did the kids think? What did I think?
I'm trying to figure out what the kind of therapeutic... Can I also point out we are taking a different way home again?
I saw you, yeah.
Yeah, Google Maps takes us a different way this entire week.
Whatever town,
Yeah.
but we'll come back
This
to the
is
panic button.
Olmsted or something, I think
This
I
is
saw.
absolutely adorable.
Yeah, it's a cute little town we're
But
going
I
through
don't
right
think
now.
I don't think I've ever been through this town. This is charming as all get out.
If you saw something that said Olmsted, I'm guessing this is Olmsted Falls, not North Olmsted.
Community church. Olmsted's community church. Right?
Okay, Olmsted Community Church. There you go.
Historic Olmsted Falls
Olmsted
is
Falls,
the name
there
of the
it
place
is.
we are.
We came through here. Now that I made that turn right there, I remember going to Valley City.
Maybe
this way,
when
but
you
we
and
have not
Andrew were
come
putting
home.
things together.
I don't know, maybe, but we have not come home this way.
I would remember this because this is where I live now.
Yeah, right.
This is I mean about as charming. I'm wondering, Andrew, look at the tire swing.
Literally a
on
tire
the old
swing in the
oak
front
tree.
yard, yeah.
I mean, it's sad Bobby didn't come home from the war,
Yeah.
but otherwise, real kind of
Because Andrew, that building you point out this building. Yeah, I think it was when it was just Andrew and I.
That white building, when I saw that white building, I knew we were getting close to my grandma's house when we were visiting
wow,
from
this
Valley
is just
City.
as cute as it gets. But all that being put aside, I guess what I'm trying to understand, Andrew, is because my guess would be this was something that some group of parents had maybe come up with for if there was a kid who was a little on the anxious side, as a way to help them kind of process that maybe. But I'm kind of wondering.
I don't know. The way Tim said it didn't sound like there were other kids in the classroom who did that. He
Your
said
mom
it was
just
something that my
invented this?
mom did. And that's why I'm wondering if it was sort of a joke.
Like the idea is press this when you're feeling panicked and then it'll fix it?
Yeah, I can
thing?
see it being somewhat kidding on the square.
Uh-huh.
I think. Also, my mom drank.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's worth mentioning here as well.
But did it
at
lead
that time in her
lead
life.
to needlepoint? Did it lead to sewing projects
right,
generally?
Exactly. And how was it affixed to my shirt every day?
One other quick thing that I'm noticing, I've never seen this particular terminology. There is what I would imagine to be a retirement community here called Columbia Park, but it's called an age-qualified community.
You got to
An
qualify.
age qualified. I'm pre-qualified for that, by the way.
Yeah.
At age 50, that is a really. I mean, we need to bring back TBTL as mystery solvers. The challenge here, Andrew, is that your mom, who would know, is no longer with us.
I thought you were going to say we need to bring back your mom. I'm like, Luke, I don't even think the power of TBTL has that.
I wouldn't put it past the 10s, but I mean that's a real kind of stumper.
It's really kind of scrambled my brain for the past several hours.
I think you got to start with Bob.
Yeah.
Just on the off chance.
My sister has a good memory.
Oh yeah, that's
she might
another place.
remember.
You got to interview anybody who might be able. I mean, it'd be basically your dad and your sister who might be able to give you some intel on this. And then if they can't, we start with your old teachers.
And my friend. Well, the teachers. I don't know.
You check with Tony.
Tony, my friend Tony might remember this. I'll text him later.
God, I wish I had the serial music.
What about your aunt? We met your aunt that was at the jump today. Would she know? Maybe?
I don't think so. I don't think my aunts were knowing what I was wearing to school. But
I was trying to look this up on the fly on my phone about sewing a panic button to your kid's shirt, and all I'm getting is just information about fixing a button on your kid's shirt. Like if a button falls off your kid's shirt. So I wonder if this is something the listeners might know about, or even if it's something that the listeners have experience with, or if it was completely an invention of your mom. It does. My sense is, I think this really happened, right? I don't think that Tim would just completely hallucinate this.
Based on my conversation with Tim, who and again, I haven't talked to him in years and years, but we probably talked for at least a half hour today, if not more, and just trading memories. And he has a much better memory of things growing up. I think it does help when you stay in a place. He still lives in Valley City, so I do think that maybe this is just me trying to excuse my bad memory, but I do think it helps that when you stay in a place, you have more less things change around you,
Physical,
so you might have
almost
more
reminders. Yeah.
But I don't know that I would remember this if I still lived in Valley City. But I do think that he's a very reliable narrator on this. So just so you know, I don't. There's not a part of me that thinks he got this wrong.
What I would probably do if I was sewing a panic button on my kids' clothing is I would say, this is going to be between us.
Sure.
Because if there's anything that's going to make a kid panic, it's getting bullied about their panic button.
Sure. Well, that's what Tim said I wish I hadn't stated it the way I did before, because he didn't say we'd make fun of you. He just said, yeah, remember, and then we'd all come over and push your panic button.
Like, I feel like I'd sew that on the inside
right?
bottom flap of the shirt.
On the inside of your underwear, so you're just constantly poking yourself in the
pelvis. Kind of right down, maybe.
I don't think that's...
No?
Okay,
This is the guy who wanted to borrow kids for the frog jump.
Listen, it was within the context of where we were. Borrowing a child would not have been
Honestly,
unusual.
right before we walked out there, I actually really wanted us to have some young person with us so that we looked a little less out of place. Well, Andrew, that's a curious development, and I can see why that would be living in your head a little bit. Hopefully we'll be able to get a little bit more information on it.
I will say this: one of the 10s we were talking. So I apologize to the 10s who were there today, because I told that story already twice.
I'm sorry I keep doing this. Why does that Ohio Acura have a vanity plate that says Ebola? Have you ever seen such a thing? Why in the living Tweedle would you get the vanity plate Ebola?
The window's open. Can I catch up to them and ask? We're going opposite directions on the highway.
Now, it might be a grocery store next to SARS, so... I mean, there's a lot of questions. I just want to give credit to whoever listener I was talking to today, because I relayed this story, this panic button story, twice before I told you about it to some people. I just, wanted to tell the story. And one of the listeners said, well, we know what next year's TB Telethon gift is going to be.
OMG.
Everyone's going to get a panic button to sew onto their shirts.
That's not a bad idea.
I got to say, I bet those are probably pretty cheap to produce. So as the money guy, I like that.
By the way, quick thing about Cleveland. Everybody's so nice there. I cannot believe...
A lot of your personality, Andrew, makes a lot more sense to me, having spent time in this area.
Yeah.
It is a very polite, very, after you.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, I guess the Minnesota version would be Opa, or how do they say that?
Just ope.
Ope.
Just ope.
It's whatever the Ohio version of that
Let me scoot right by you. Ope. Let me
is
scoot
going
right by
on
you.
out here.
Yeah, and it might have to do with some of the things I've said before about kind of like I told you, I went to a Costco out here with my dad, and I was like, I don't want to go to a Costco on a Saturday, but it seems so much more navigable because like everybody just sort of seemed to be looking out for each other and stuff. And but aside from that, like the people who work at the ballpark, like there's a lot of like kind of self-checkout machines that I was a little confused by various aspects of because I'm super cool, and everybody just was like looking. They were out of popcorn at one of these places. I'm like, oh, I'll just wait. But some employees like, no, I'm going to get this for you now. And they snuck behind and got me a bag of popcorn, which I don't even think they wanted me to pay for, but I did anyway. Like, everybody's just so kind.
I had a little bit of a I don't want to say tense moment, but I had to negotiate my way into proper nachos in the, 7th inning. I wanted to get some nachos. They had the large nachos, which were like covered in ground beef, and then the small nachos, which did not have meat on them. I ordered the small nachos, and they said, that doesn't come with meat. And I said, yeah, that's actually what I want. And then instead of running it under the nacho cheese machine, I know that you don't like this kind of stuff, Andrew.
No, but you can talk about it around me.
That, like the large nachos, they would run it under the nacho cheese dispenser and get it all kind of in there. The small nachos, they just gave you a sealed container
like
of
a
the
little
cheese,
tub, like a little
just
tub.
and then just some dry ass chips. And I was like, can I have the good sauce on my small nachos? And the woman was like, that's not really the system. And I was like, well, could I pay a little extra for that? And she said, you know what? It's okay. And then she gave me the nacho upgrade. I don't understand why the small nachos would not get the proper topping of like the warm cheese. That's the whole kind of appeal of the thing.
And again, given how accommodating everybody was, I'm really surprised that she even questioned it, honestly.
Ultimately, she was very nice to me. There was just a moment where we hit a little bit of a roadblock, but we got through it. I just realized that was the first of 2 nacho experiences I would have in about a 20-hour period, because today I was so hungry at the frog jump that I snuck off to get what they call walking nachos. And walking taco.
Walking taco, yeah.
I think they actually call them walking nachos.
Well, it's a very Midwest thing.
Okay.
In Minnesota, they call them a walking taco for sure. Maybe they call them nachos here. I apologize.
No. I'm forgetting exactly what it was called. I thought because they used Doritos.
Yes.
And same thing. I got it sans the meat, but I got everything else on it, and it was kind of delicious. But you cannot get to everything because it's in a bag. It's in a specially designed bag that looks like you opened a bag of Doritos and you just dumped a bunch of stuff in. But it didn't. Believe it or not, it wasn't a bag of Doritos, if that makes any sense. It's a specially made container that looks like it was the bag of Doritos.
Did you get a fork with it, Luke, or were they expecting
I got a spork with it.
Yeah, okay. All right.
No, thank you. I walked to the barbecue stand and got a real fork. But even then, I couldn't. You can't eat tortilla chips with warm nacho cheese on them and jalapenos and the like out of a bag unless you reach in, and then it's just an absolute mess. It's kind of this would be, I mean, on about 10 levels, Andrew, not for you.
Can I talk about absolute messes at the food? It was delicious,
Please.
but I walked over similar to you after our jump just because of the time of day, and we really hadn't had breakfast or anything. I was also very hungry, and I walked over. I think it was the firefighters. Had like a little hamburger, chicken sandwich, sausage place. And I said, great, I'm going to get one of these. And they listed something on their menu as a sausage sandwich. And I'm like, is that just like on a bun? Or, like I asked them, I was like, that's just like, yeah, it's on like, it's a sandwich. I was like, okay. And they said, it said onions and peppers and marinara. And I said to the woman, there's two women there taking the orders. The old one was a little older, the other was a little younger. And I said to the older woman, I said, is that messy? I don't really want to get pretty messy, like with all the marinara. And she goes, oh no, they wrap it in foil. And I look over
and you eat the whole thing.
And I look over at the younger woman who's like snickering a little bit because I think she knew either this woman wasn't answering my question honestly or maybe didn't understand my question. And I go over and I get my sandwich after I pay, and it's just like on a bun, a brat, marinara, and onions and peppers, and it was red sauce everywhere. It was
the red wedding.
It was basically the red wedding. It's a miracle. I mean, you guys can inspect me later. It's a miracle I didn't just drip sauce.
We do inspect John before bed.
Yeah, well,
that's part of the flow chart at
He's
TBTB.
getting older now, though. I wonder if we still have to do that.
Well, at least,
let's do it
but
for
this
one
time
more
I
year.
want you to do it with my shirt on, so you can see the shirt to see if there's any red spots.
Definitely
I missed.
shirt on.
But yeah, it was like it was delicious. It was very messy. Used lots of napkins.
Well, here we are, my friends. We're getting close to getting back to our Airbnb for our final night. The TBTLathon 17, Jumping for Joy, is officially now in the rearview mirror. I just want to say one more time, thank you so much to everybody who supported us and donated and called in and was just part of the whole thing. Thanks again to the folks that came out to the frog jump in Valley City. That was great. It was nice. My CBS producers were like, you have amazing listeners. They were the 10s have just been impressing people all week long, whether it's Bob and Joyce on the Zoom or whether it's my friend Young, the producer for CBS. So thanks again to all of you awesome people. Here's my question to you, Andrew and John. How are we feeling about the trip home? What's everybody doing? What's the ins and outs of it? And also, what are we most excited about getting home to or doing when we get home?
Well, one thing I'm excited about while we're still here in Cleveland is I hear, and maybe this is again why the Midwest is maybe the mid-best, because
Although if you think about
I
it.
know. Don't examine that. Don't examine that like we examined John
Don't ask
before
any
bed.
follow-up
Just like let's
questions.
just make that a new catchphrase and think of it as complimentary. Apparently, our Airbnb doesn't have a bunch of annoying rules about like de-bedding the beds or stripping the beds of the sheets and doing this and that. I mean, obviously, we're going to be responsible. We're going to throw away whatever food because I think what's going to happen tomorrow is John has the earliest flight. Luke, you have a close second.
No, my flight's at 7 a.m.
Okay, John, yours is at 9?
I have to be at the airport at 9.
His flight's
okay.
at 4.
Oh, yeah, sounds like me. My flight isn't until the late afternoon, early evening, so I'm gonna be the last one out of the Airbnb, and then I'm gonna head over to the west side to hang with my parents for a little bit, get one last little visit in before they take me to the airport. And so I'm just really psyched to know that, like, I'll be responsible. You guys know me. I like to leave a tidy place behind, but we don't have to do stupid stuff like strip the beds.
Yeah, didn't my niece say that the stripping of the beds was because she had done some like kind of turnaround service on some Airbnbs. I believe that the idea of the stripping of the beds is so that the folks doing the cleaning know which beds need to be remade and not.
Oh, yeah.
Because if everyone makes the beds actually nicely, then they don't know which ones need to be washed.
Oh,
They wash all of them.
They'll know to wash my bed.
They'll know. Yeah.
Oh, my
Believe
goodness.
you me, they'll see, what is this black powder on this pillowcase? Oh, it's Topic.
Yeah,
You paint your bald
that's-
spot? Sick.
That's yours.
Yeah, they'll know.
So anyway, so that's what tomorrow's going to be like.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to it. So I don't have to get up super early. So I'm going to go home. I'm going to put this show together, hopefully, and get it all ready to go. So I don't have to work too much tomorrow. I can spend some QT with the parental units, as
And I'm
they describe
guessing
themselves.
that your dad is also a get to the airport on the early side kind of guy.
Yeah, certainly, and he knows I'm anxious about it. And I also have like a suitcase full of equipment that looks very dangerous, so I got to get through security and everything.
Something else that this is a forward promo for future episodes of TBTL for folks to look forward to. You and Mr. Walsh, Andrew, you and Bob will be...
Just one thing here, just so listeners know, this is actually a siren going by us. That's not in your car. Go ahead, John.
We didn't cause it. You and Bob will be shipping boxes, one to you and one to me. So that's something to look forward to is, do we get the boxes?
Yeah, well, also, like my dad, I mean...
You're using carrier pigeon this time, right?
My dad is not a proud man necessarily, but he is very proud about one aspect of his life and personality, which is he calls himself the Packer, capital P, capital T, capital P. He loves packing things up, whether it's leftovers after a night at the Chinese restaurant or a box. So we dropped off 2 boxes, again, one going towards John's house, one towards mine eventually. And I'm like, we can probably reuse these boxes. And then I got a text from him later that night. He said, I've already gotten better boxes.
Nice.
So he's reboxing things, he's reshipping. I mean, I have, just knowing that Bob is in charge of this, and he might
Yes.
ship them after
Let go
I'm
and let
gone.
Bob.
Like,
What are the chances he just drives them out to us himself?
pretty good. He did that for a grill one time for me when I lived in New Hampshire and he lived in Ohio. So, like,
Was it
very
an
good
Andy Man?
chance- Oh, unfortunately, no. Rest in peace, Andy Man.
I will tell you, I got eyes on the Andy Man grill, the concept, and it is so cool. In fact, I kind of slightly embarrassingly asked your dad for one of the kind of ads for it, because they had all kinds of incredibly professional and I would say very well done advertising materials. You know, they
Yeah.
were in a bunch of magazines.
Very
and they
clever.
had very clever. I mean, really creative stuff. And so one of those I'm going to bring home and frame it and put it up in the TBTL studio because it's
That's
so cool.
cool.
But
Yeah, that's cool. So anyway, so I'm looking forward to tomorrow because I don't have to, be out of the Airbnb until 11. So I'm probably going to stay up late tonight, maybe get the show put together, maybe putter around, pack up. Last night is a nice night to just sort of relax, pack all my stuff up. And then, like I say, I'm not getting back to Cleveland until, I'm not getting back to Seattle until, evening on Monday. We have more shows to do on Tuesday, including my After These Messages. So what I'm truly looking forward to, this is a weird answer, is I'm looking forward to Wednesday. Wednesday afternoon, after TBTL, John and I have already canceled the weekly meeting.
love it.
Yeah. And so, when I get done with the show on Wednesday, I don't have anything else to do the rest of the afternoon, and that is the moment I'm looking forward to. Just complete Andy times from about 1 p.m. forward.
And I got to imagine Lucy and Bingo.
Oh my goodness, and Genevieve, of course. I mean, I can't wait to see the gang. Today was a huge day back home. Apparently, I don't think I told you this, Luke.
I
yet.
saw a photo on Instagram that was quite heartwarming.
Yes, we've been waiting for the day that the cat and the dog will start to bond so much that they snuggle together. And apparently, today was snuggling day. They've
The bad
actually
news is-
snuggled together.
It only happened because you left town.
No, that is true. I do think that there's something about the dynamic of probably just the 3 of them in the house instead of 4 of us. But once you break that seal, I just think that that's a huge step. Okay, but I've dominated this. What about you, Luke? What are you looking forward to?
Well, I'm taking that kind of early flight, which I was saying to John the other day. I've become sort of weird, or I don't know, weird is the word, but like I actually am not that anti-early flight, and I'm also not that anti-red-eye flight these days if I'm going from the West Coast to the East Coast. The early flight, it sucks getting up, but then there are often fewer people in the airport, maybe slightly better chance of getting upgraded, and also, if you play it just right, and this may involve us having a couple C-minuses tonight, Andrew, kind of you can sleep on the flight, because you wake up, you get to the airport, and then you're pretty drowsy when you get back on the flight. You might sleep through some of it. So I'm going to do that, and then I've got to change planes in Seattle, and then, you know me, I mean, living La Vida Loca, I can't wait to mow my lawn. All I can think about is what is happening, is the dandelions that have been growing for the last week and a half, the fact that I had everything really buttoned up when I left. So I'm going to get home, I'm going to mow my lawn, I'm going to do some live wire recording, I'm going to mow my lawn, and I'm going to sit out on my little deck, and I'm going to stare at my lawn.
Nice.
And,
that sounds wonderful.
And probably see Becca.
John, you looking forward to anything, or are you just staying in Cleveland?
No, I am very excited. I've had a great time here. I'm going to look forward to getting home. And as you guys know, yesterday was actually mine and Jess's wedding anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
So, yep, she's still keeping me around. So I think because I missed it, I'm going to try to maybe pick up something nice for dinner to cook. Maybe grill some steaks or something.
I was going to say, what's your romantic meal?
I mean, it's not necessarily romantic, just something I don't normally cook. Maybe just a couple nice steaks or something like that.
Just kind of probably big beans. Big, fat, juicy beans.
Yeah, so I think I'll probably do something like that. And then,
Hey, John, I know what you're saying. What you're trying to say here is ribbit.
Yeah, exactly that.
Maybe the biggest, other than also the financial support, maybe the biggest gift we received from the Thon this year is sexy ribbit.
Yeah, I still think we need an HR department, but yeah. So just hang out with Jess and petting the pups. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really excited.
Well, you guys, I've said this to you off air, but I'll say it on air. Thank you to both of you for working so hard on this and making this a big success this week. I really appreciate you guys doing almost all of the heavy lifting.
Well, thanks to the listeners. I think we're a little bit close to it right now because I'm just really depleted and pretty exhausted and looking forward to getting home. But when I actually take a moment, probably on the plane tomorrow, and I'm reflecting on all this, what a special week.
Absolutely. I'm also realizing we did leave the garage door open. We're lucky that
frig.
No miscreants decided
How do we know?
to just play pool.
That was me. I got water.
We could have had street toughs in there in our garage of the Airbnb playing pool.
We could have skunks and raccoons in there. I went out there to get water out of that refrigerator today. I hit the button. I must not have hit it right when I came back in. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, it doesn't appear to have led to any malfeasance or other things. So everything's coming up, TBTL. Again, thanks, everyone, for all your help and support and your love. You all are the absolute best. That's going to do it for today's episode of TBTL. But guess what? We're going to be right back here tomorrow with more imaginary radio for you.
I'm looking forward to it.
Nothing stops a TBTL. So we'll see you then. In the meantime, have a great Monday. Take care of yourselves. And please remember, no mountain too tall.
And good luck to all.
Rabbit. 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 Rabbit.
Power out.